This is a bicycle. And this is a big box with the word Swytch written on it. So this is the Swytch, that's a bicycle, and this is fully charged. So a couple of things to explain. Now, I've had this bike for about 7 years. It's not a really high-end racing bike or something like that, but it is very, very light. It has amazing disc brakes that are really extraordinarily better than the old caliper brakes. It's the first bike I had with disc brakes. I grew up with derailleur gears where you had to pull a lever and while you're riding on, you were never sure if you were actually in gear. This just goes tick, 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 absolutely perfect each time. So that is really good. So this is the hill. This hill is my nemesis. This is Salters Lane. Now, when we first moved out here 30 years ago, I used to cycle here regularly. I used to go up that hill. I would get puffed, but I could do it. Now I can't. In fact, that's why I've come to this point, because it was around about here somewhere that as I was trying to get up a couple of years ago, I just collapsed on the grassy bank at the side of the lane. I was in tears, I couldn't breathe, like that, and a neighbour, of course, had to drive past at that moment. They thought I'd had a heart attack and they were worried for me. I said, no, it's fine. So I had to get off and walk, get up there. So what I'm going to do now is convert my existing pedal cycle to an electric pedal assist bike. Now, the wonderful people from Swytch Bikes have told me, and we're going to meet them later on in this episode, they have told me that I will be capable of converting my bike to an electric bike. And I'm hoping they're right, because I have been known to cock things up in the past, but I'm really going to give it a go. So that means I will be able to come here again and see if I can cycle up Salters Lane, my nemesis. Salters Lane, watch out, I'm coming for you. Okay, so this is the first time I've done unboxing on fully charged. In fact, it's the first time I've ever recorded an unboxing situation. I don't really know, to be honest, what is in here. This is, oh, okay, now I do. Well, there's clearly a wheel, puncture-proof tyres. Oh, that has got to be the battery pack, and a charger plug. Oh, look, that's a universal pedal sensor. Oh, that is very, very special. Okay, I better get on with the conversion. Okay, so I'm now joined by Oliver and Dimitro from Swytch Bikes.
Hello.
Hi guys, it's
great to be here.
So good to see you. I've had such a brilliant time with my old bike.
Glad to hear
it's a new bike. It's like a totally different. I don't even think of it as my old bike. It's my new bike. It's really, really cool. So I went through. You were very, very helpful in helping me convert it. But I went through the whole process, and the only bit that was a bit fiddly was the pedal sensor. Everything else was really straightforward. It really was. Anyone could do that. That was a bit more of a faff. But I mean, you know, if I can do it, that means 90% of the population can do it.
Don't be so down on yourself.
All right, 85%.
Well,
but,
yeah, and once it's fitted,
once it's done, it's done. You just forget about it, and it works so easily. It is really, really impressive. This is the hill that got me, that broke my cycling spirit a few years ago.
Broke it in twain.
Yeah, it did. Because this is called Salters Lane, and it's a lane that goes from what is the Vale of Evesham up to the top of the Cotswold Escarpment. And it's actually one of the gentler hills, because some of the other hills some of them are not as steep as this, but they're really busy roads, so you don't really want to cycle on those. This one is very quiet, but it just goes on. And I just couldn't make it. And I think you've got to put it down to age, and it'll be easy for you guys.
Well, no, Robert, you're not a year older than 30, surely.
I'm 30, well over 31. But this makes it possible. You know, I could not have got up this hill without my Swytch adaptation on this bike. And that's the really good thing about this system is I know that I've got to try to get up it on this bike. So it's not even a different bike, it's the same bike.
The bike remembers.
The bike remembers. The poor old git can't get up the hill. I mean, I just think it's such a sensible, obvious idea of making it possible to convert existing bikes, and clearly any bike. So.
Well, we did bring a few toys today to show just how you can fit really any bike.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It seems obvious once you know that you can turn any bike now into an electric bike. And yeah, we're just trying to get the message out there that everyone with a bike at home who maybe aren't riding it as much as they want to be, maybe they're driving petrol or diesel cars.
Exactly. And they should be out on their bikes.
Yeah.
So what you're sending out then is those boxes like I got.
Yep.
And that will have a wheel that's the right size. So if say you have a Brompton and you want to buy get an electric version, you'll get a new Brompton wheel.
So we're out of stock at the moment due to high demand, like most of the bicycle industry. But we normally stock common wheel sizes that you can buy right now for £999. Or very popular at the moment is we're offering the opportunity to pre-order, and the way that works is quite useful for the wheel size. So we take orders, and then you confirm after you order your wheel size and any other specs. We build it to order to match your bike, and yeah, the box arrives perfectly tailored for your bike. Pop it on, and off you go.
And so that is, I know the question that our viewers are going to, because I know that there's going to be a lot of people watching this going, I want that one, I want that on my bike. But, so it's how much it costs then to do it. You mentioned there the cost of it. But at the moment, what are the alternatives?
It's basically about £500 to pre-order one.
Right.
And you have to wait 10 to 12 weeks whilst we manufacture it for delivery to your door. Alternatively, we will have some stock soon, and the retail price is double that, so £999.
The actual capacity of the motor is, what you did tell me, is it
it's a 250 watt motor, which is like the highest you can have in the UK and most of Europe.
Right. I mean, that is a beefy mountain bike, but so the motor
it's
on that is the same as the one on here. It isn't.
Yeah, just a different colour.
Right.
Yeah. So that's another thing. We offer two colours, silver and black, because some people have got kind of quite sexy bikes like this, and they want it to merge.
And then the actual battery. I don't know. I was going to say, how many kilowatt hours of the battery? There's none.
0.25.
0.25 kilowatt hours.
Yeah, but it sounds better if you say 250 watt hours.
250 watt hours.
And actually, so that's a coincidence, but 250 watts and 250 watt hours are not the same thing.
Yeah.
But you know, the numbers are the same, which means that at maximum power it will last for an hour.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So, but normal use, you would use it at medium power.
Yeah.
We like to encourage people to use their legs a bit too.
Very important.
So at medium power and medium leg power, you should get 2 hours of run time, and then and that will take you about 40 or 50 kilometres.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is. But what is also very revealing is how efficient bicycles are, because if you think 0.25 of a kilowatt hour. Can take you, with a bit of human help, a long way. 0.25 of a kilowatt hour in the most efficient electric car will take you 500 metres.
And the sustainability CO2 emissions are just what you breathe out.
Yeah. So if I go down a gear, because it feels like I'm pedalling much faster than you, but that means the faster I pedal, the more the pedal sensor. Yeah, that's right.
It's sensitive to the cadence. So if you give it a bit more cadence, it will give you a bit more power.
Yeah.
So yeah, especially when going up a hill, if you're in a nice low gear and keep the pedals turning, you can let the motor do a lot of the work.
Right.
Yeah. And roughly speaking, the average man's leg power is about 250 watts.
Right.
Which is the same as the motor power.
I see.
So you kind of double the power.
Right.
So I reckon you could probably put out like 400 or 500 watts when you really go for it.
Right.
So adding this 250 watts on the front wheel, you've got 250 watts on the back without really having to kill yourself.
Go crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
And then 250 watts on the front, and so now you've got the power of a professional road cyclist almost.
But a very out of condition, overweight one.
Yeah. You might still want to put some Lycra on to reduce the air resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I should have been in my very, very revealing Lycra.
We tried to keep it really simple.
Yeah, it's like the bare minimum that you need to make an electric bike work.
Yeah.
And for most people, this is plenty of features, absolutely.
Right. But then, so there are other connectors underneath this one.
That's right.
Is that so you could have other additional bits on it? Is that
yeah,
the case?
so there's so many different accessories. The most common one is probably a throttle or a brake sensor, and that gives you a little bit extra control, especially going up the hills or kind of starting off the traffic light.
And what is the, I don't understand, because I understand the throttle, what does the brake sensor do? Is that if you put the brakes on, it cuts the power to the...
Yeah, when you pedal, the power goes. When you stop pedaling, the power stops. But if you want extra control, e.g. if you're commuting and you're adjusting at traffic lights, if you just touch the brake sensors, then even if you pedal a bit, the motor won't come in.
Right.
But it's an optional add-on, because generally speaking, you know...
You get used to it pretty quick. Because the first time I rode it, I think because it... You know, I've got another electric bike, which I'm used to, which I know how to adjust that. But this one, the first time I got on it and I felt it pulling away, it was more alarming because it was a bike I'm used to that didn't used to do that. Yeah. Suddenly it does start helping you, which is quite a different experience.
And yeah, you'll get used to the electric power. So then when you turn it off, it suddenly feels like, oh, crikey, having to use your legs.
Yes, yes, yeah, indeed.
It's getting steeper up here.
Now, quite often there are cows in this field, and once when I was coming up here, I thought I can make it. But there was a cow lying down on the road, and I didn't feel like I should make it get up. So that stymied me, yeah.
Well, the other great thing about converting it on the front wheel is now you're two-wheel drive.
Yes.
That's the key.
Because I'm doing the rear wheel.
Yeah, you're doing the rear wheel. Let the motor do the front wheel.
So the thing I like about it though is you get to work, you live in a city, get to work, lock your bike up, and you do this. I've got to try and get this right this time. Yeah! Yes! The one-handed release. Walk up to your office, plug that in, but then how long does that take? So say it's pretty low, you've got 1 bar left.
Yep.
How long does it take to charge?
Well, you're like this. It charges at 10 miles an hour, or roughly 15 kilometres an hour.
That is really good.
If you've got 50 kilometres range, it's just over 3 hours to charge.
Right, and that's just on an ordinary domestic socket.
Regular socket, yeah. Right. Charge it anywhere that has a plug point. Oh, we're almost there. I can almost see the end is in sight.
Yeah.
The light. What's the equivalent for the light is at the end of the tunnel? The crest.
The crest of the hill.
The crest is at the end of the hill.
There's no way I could have done this without my Swytch. There's no way. I'm at the top of Salters Hill. I could not get up that hill without having an electric motor on this bike. It's been really good. As you can tell, it's made a huge difference to an old man on a bike. I'm really proud I made it up this far. Please subscribe to Fully Charged. Look at the Patreon link because I might need serious medical help. Have a look at the YouTube memberships, and as always, if you have been, thank you for watching.